So this week I sat down with Mark Maciver AKA SliderCuts. SliderCuts has grown to become one of the foremost barbers in London, with a brand that is now a firm staple in British urban culture, cutting hair for the likes of Tinie Joshua, Reggie Yates and Tinie Tempah. In this interview we discussed early beginnings, where the slider comes from and the secret sauce behind his success. Listen and enjoy. Where does the name Slider come from?
This comes from a nickname that I had when I was about 13, 14 years old. It was just the time when everybody was just choosing names just to have, and I was MCing, so I needed an MC name. So long and short of it, I chose that name. But what happened simultaneously at that time was I started dancing, and I started getting into dancing, and I got really into sliding. So it was almost like I spoke it into existence, what I was going to be doing and what I was going to become all about at that time. So the name came from just a chosen name, but it was almost fate that it would have been my name, especially by how addicted I was to sliding.
I actually love that so much because that's basically the only move that I can do as well. So I feel like if I was going to choose a name, it would have been Slider as well.
Yeah.
But I wasn't expecting that. Do you remember your first haircut professionally, and what was it like?
It's a weird one because my first professional haircut, I guess my first haircut in the shop when I went to work in the barbershop D&L's was my friend. Because when I went in there, I thought I was going to cut someone from the public, and the owner said to me, the manager said to me, "Oh, what, you think you're going to cut like regular customers?" Like, no. He's like, "Go get one of your friends." You know, so the first day I was working, I didn't cut anyone.
Yeah.
Then a week after that, I got one of my friends, and his name was Christian, and I cut him. So you could say that, quote unquote, that was my first professional haircut, but I had cut his hair before them.
Okay.
You know, so I was cutting, there's quite a few people I was cutting, and he was like, "Yeah, go get one of your friends or whoever you're cutting, go cut." Yeah.
He didn't want you cutting anyone in the actual...
Yeah, not yet.
Not just yet?
Not yet.
Yeah. And do you remember what that experience was like when it was within the shop? Were you nervous at all, or did you just have confidence that you'd done it so many times anyway that you were going to be fine?
I don't think it was confident, slight confidence, but no, I wasn't fully confident about it, but they eased me into it. So I wasn't cutting any, like, first of all, like children, you know, cut that child.
Yeah.
You know, give that guy a fade, no shape up. So it was kind of eased into me. And first of all, obviously, I was still cutting like people who I knew who I was cutting from before.
Yeah.
So it was really easy. It wasn't kind of like one day I was cutting nobody, the next day I was cutting, you know, this big man.
Yeah,
you know,
of course. But smoothed into it.
Yeah.
And obviously you're viewed as one of like the most skilled within the industry now. How much of it would you say is attributed to talent versus practice? Would you say you had a lot of raw natural talent, or would you say a lot of it was just down to how much you practice?
No, it's not. It's practice, hard work. To be honest, I'm not naturally gifted as a barber.
Okay. Wow, wasn't expecting that.
It's the truth. I'm not naturally gifted as a barber. I see barbers around me who are more naturally gifted than me. I see younger barbers around me who, there's people who trained up, like, for example, like this young barber called Tinie, who I look at him and from the beginning I said, right, this guy is naturally gifted as a barber, like he is more naturally gifted than me. Like, you know, he will have to do less to be as good as me and better than me.
Interesting.
You know, so I will have to work harder. So I know that I see people around me who are like naturally better than me. So for me, it's just kind of like I just have to work harder.
Got you.
But I'm willing to put that time in. So if you do 1 hour, I'm willing to do 4 or 5 hours.
Interesting. So that's what separates you, I guess, from the majority. The fact you're willing to do more.
I guess because I'm willing to do more, and I'm willing to be, and I'm open to be honest with myself. Which I guess a lot of people aren't open to say maybe someone is better than them, or someone's done a better haircut than them, or someone potentially will be better than them, or someone's naturally more gifted than them. Like whatever it is,
it's
you know,
hard to take, I guess.
But you know, I'm willing to say that person's better than me, and I'm willing to say that that person shapes up better than me, or fades better than me, or does scissor cut better than me, or does patterns better than me. Whatever it is, whether it's all around or to do with individual skills within barbering, I'm willing to identify those things, and being willing to identify those things allow me to improve those things. Because if you can't be honest with yourself about where your weaknesses are, then you can never improve those areas. Absolutely. So I think what separates me from people is probably that I acknowledge my weaknesses.
That's interesting to hear. Self-awareness is sort of key then. I read on your Instagram, there's one biblical verse that seems to stick out for you. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters. That's quite a big quote, but where do you find your motivation from when you're not in the mood to do something? What still drives you? Because it can't be 24/7, 100% all the time. But when you're not in the mood, where do you draw your motivation from?
The fact that I've got an agreement with the person who I'm cutting.
Fair enough.
The agreement is you're gonna give me, a set amount of money, and I'm gonna give you a haircut that is worth that set amount of money, and a good quality and stuff like that. So that's where I draw my motivation from. It's not whether I'm demotivated. The fact is, your word is your bond. And when you sit into my chair, you've been promised a good haircut.
Got you.
So it doesn't matter how I'm feeling, I've got to stick to the promise that I gave you. So it comes from just honouring my word.
Got
So
you.
whether I'm feeling demotivated or not, I still,
You have a standard that you have to.
Right, yeah, and if I don't, then my thing is you should tell me that, and then I should compensate you for that.
Got you. Moving on to today, SliderCuts is obviously now, it's more than just a service from my perspective anyway. It's almost part of a bigger sort of wider British urban culture. What has made your brand stand out from others? Big question, but any key things that you can pinpoint towards that has made your brand stand out?
What has made my brand stand out from other people's brands? One thing would be that I acknowledge that I have a brand.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't acknowledge or realize that they have a brand, so it's hard for them to.
Especially in today's day and age as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So just acknowledging you have a brand, will separate you from someone who doesn't acknowledge they have a brand. That's one. Having a brand identity. So a lot of people acknowledge they have a brand, but they don't have any brand identity. So it means that if you don't create or sit down and understand what your brand identity is, then your brand identity becomes whatever you put out there and whatever you take from it. Meaning, what I mean to break that down is, if you do not write the script of what you're trying to do, then you end up improvising and going all over the place, and the play becomes about something different.
Got you.
So you have to write the script.
It's got to be very intentional.
Intentional. And I'm not saying it has to be some manuscript that you've written out, but it has to be intentional of what do you represent, what do you stand for, what are the benefits of your business, or what are the strengths and weaknesses of your business, what's the ethos behind it. Like, these things you've got to know, and then through these things you will live out, and that's what your brand will become about. So if you don't show up all the time, then your brand is an unreliable brand. If you're always late, if you give bad haircuts, that your brand represents bad quality haircuts.
It's true. Everyone's got a brand, whether it's a good or a bad one, you still got a brand.
Everybody has a brand. I always say this, everybody has a brand. It's about what your brand is, whether it's a good brand or a bad brand. So the fact is, I think a lot of people's brands, because they don't acknowledge they've got brands and they think that I work for myself, I can do as I please, if I don't shop, I don't shop. If I shop late, I shop late. I think what separates me is, one, that even before I knew I was branding, I had a good ethos about what the standard of what I was doing and what I should represent. And then even after understanding that I've been branding, I clearly put out what my brand represents. So it's hard for someone else's brand to stand next to my brand when you don't actually put out or acknowledge or,
like if someone asked what your brand is, I feel like not many people
could answer the question.
Can answer that question.
Yeah, but I can tell you what my brand
straight away
is about. So that makes it easier. So it means that I'm not even in a competition in that sense, because I'm actually pushing a brand and you're not, even though you have a brand. So that's one thing that makes me separate you from other people, which might not be as big as mine. And also, I think they'll do just good business.
Mm-hmm.
Good business.
Simple as that,
giving out a good quality product, which is great for word of mouth.
Yeah.
But then using like social media and internet properly to promote myself properly and push myself and throw it out there.
Well, I was just about to touch on that, because people travel to see you. What has kept your customers so loyal? Because I recently cheated on my barber, and I don't think I'm going back, but what has kept your customers coming back to you? I know it sort of touches on business and social media, but why are your customers loyal?
They're loyal to themselves, to be honest. They're not loyal to me. They're loyal to the product they're getting.
Got you.
You know, so I would hate for someone to be more loyal to me than the product I was given. Because if they're all loyal to me, that means that my product could slack. And because you're being loyal, is actually blinding me to what my brand's actually representing right now, or the quality of my product. So I would rather you be, what I always tell people is be loyal to yourself.
Yeah.
So, you know, keep shopping with me because you're getting what you're paying for, and not because you feel you have to be in my chair because you're loyal to your barber.
Yeah.
You know, come and go. I've seen customers who have cut with me, then I've seen them cut with someone else, and I've been like, oh, you know what, that person gave you a better haircut. I had a customer a few months ago where someone else cut him, someone I was working with cut him, and he was feeling all awkward about it. And I said, no, don't feel awkward, because I'm looking at the haircut. He cut you better. And now I'm looking at it thinking, yeah, I should have done that better, and that should have been better. Okay, and but I start cutting him again, or whatever's cutting him again, I know what I'll change, but he cut you better. So don't be spending your money with me when you don't want to.
Got you.
So I think what keeps people coming back is, there's always going to be some loyalty because people feel awkward anyway.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately what keeps people coming back is the service and the product and the quality of product they're getting.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, some of your clients are very high profile people. What advice can you give to barbers who are just starting out to try and get to that level? If you're sort of talking to a young apprentice right now, what advice are you giving him?
The advice I'd give is the advice I gave to myself when I was coming up. I didn't chase any celebrity. I wasn't in it for celebrities. You know, I am not working to cut a celebrity, and every celebrity is a normal person.
Yeah.
So I worked on being a good barber. I worked on giving out a good service and being very professional. And what you will find when you put all those things out there, and when you become that person, or your business becomes, embodies all of those things there, people who are of the same mindset will want those attributes of, they want a professional service, they want a good quality service, you know, they want a high standard service, you know, all of those things there people want, and celebrities will come under that bracket. Some celebrities won't, some celebrities won't care about those things there, you know, but other people will. So it's not actually...
It's not that they're a celebrity, it's just that they have a certain standard.
Yeah, because I've got customers who, well, you know, I've got plenty of customers who, they're not celebrities, but they just want that standard of service, you know. So that it might more, you could say, testify to the type of celebrity I cut, or not the type of celebrity I cut, but some of the celebrities I cut, that might be the reason why I cut. Let's say, like, you know, Reggie as an example. Reggie wants a professional service. You know,
absolutely.
You know, he wants a good quality service. You know, Tinie's the same thing. You know, he doesn't want to be worrying about where's my barber, or, you know, is it the haircut off today and stuff like that. You know, you've got more than nothing to worry about. You know, so it's kind of like, I don't want to worry about those areas. I just want to be able to sit down and, you know, get this service. So what I'm saying is, it's to do with the quality of product you're putting out there and the type of service you're putting out there, that people which want that, whether it's kind of like billionaires, millionaires, 100,000 years, 1,000 years, 100 years, whatever it is, right, will gravitate to you because they want that quality of service. So you're kind of like not chasing a certain demographic. Well, for me, I wasn't chasing a certain demographic. I was actually just kind of like, it was like, instead of me getting a fishing rod and searching for the one fish and fishing for that one fish or two fishes to catch, you know, and, you know, focusing on that, I just got the net. I said, you know what, I'm just going to spread
your tentacles as far as you can.
And then we'll see who comes up in it. And some celebrities came up in it, some working professionals came up with it, you know, some just different types of people came up in it.
And that's how it happens. So focus on your craft, basically, not just cutting so-called celebrities' hair.
Focus on your craft, and then the other thing would be, after focusing on becoming like a good barber as an example, focus on how you put yourself out there. So it's all good being great, because obviously, I say this to anyone, if you're good at what you do, especially in London, if you are good at what you do, like, you know, you're offering a service and it's a good quality service, you won't go broke, you know, unless you make silly decisions in your life. But through your working, you will make money. So, and through word of mouth, you know, you see it. How many restaurants have I been to? Not restaurants, takeaways. I've been to so many takeaways where it's like, let's say, dingy Caribbean or like kind of like African restaurants, right? And they're in some back streets, but they're always busy. They're on social media and anything like that. They're always busy. But the reason why is the food's good. You know, the food's good, and the word of mouth is being spread through that. The fact that we go there, they're good. They're good.
That's social media.
But then I think it's cool. You've reached 100 people through just giving out a good service. Now, if you promote yourself properly, that could be 1,000.
Got you. And moving on to the future, SliderCuts is obviously doing pop-ups and workshops and everything. What's next for you along that line of expanding your brand?
What is next for me? I would say I'd like to open up an academy, a SliderCuts Academy, product line.
I was reading about that.
Product line. I've started doing kind of like mini courses here now. Now I've got my own space. Like I'm doing an apprenticeship scheme, which I've got 3 people on already.
Yeah. I saw, was it Tashan on it?
Tashan
on it.
Dijon, and Charles.
Yeah.
Are the first 3 on it. Then I've got all these people. Since these guys have come, I'm getting so many messages. You know, do you think you could take my son on? You know, or just people themselves saying, you know, do you think you'd be willing to take me on? And can I come and work there? And just like, so now it's about.
What do people have to do to qualify? Just to put it out there right now, so they know.
Do you know what's funny? What people have to do to qualify? Be the first.
Got you.
Timing.
Timing.
Be the first. The first person that asked me, you know, at the right time. And the thing is, it's not only about, it's about timing, because there were other people I realized. Someone messaged me yesterday who I looked at and realized, oh, he messaged me months and months and months ago before the shop was open. I don't remember.
Of course.
You know, so it's actually just timing. So Deshaun came to me at the right time. He messaged me, he actually emailed me, and he sent me his, I think my PA was going back and forth with him, and he sent his number, but I think he sent the wrong number. Because I actually called him, but I couldn't get through, but he sent the wrong number, I realized, by mistake. So maybe days later, after the conversation and the email, after, he just came to the shop. And my thing is about being timing and being persistent.
Got you.
So technically you skipped over a bunch of people who I can't remember, but that's because you not only messaged, you actually were proactive to come in and see me. My thing is, I always want to kind of like feed the area that I'm in.
Yeah. The wider community.
Yes, you know, I want to help as much people as I can, but I always want to focus on helping the community I'm in. So even like I'm doing this runner scheme where it's like I'm looking for young boys to come and work here just to do like Saturday jobs from this area. I would love for them to be from the flats across the road, because I really always want to feed the community that I'm in. You know, so that's really important for me, and all, you know, the communities or the surrounding communities. So you know, the boys working here now, like one's from Tottenham, you know, you know, well, they're not saying who's who, give out people's addresses. One's from Tottenham, one's from Holloway, the other one is from. He's from West London actually.
Fair enough, but mostly within the area.
Yeah.
So what does a SliderCuts product line actually look like?
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
You got all these ideas.
You've done the caulking, I'm sure there was a collaboration.
Yeah, I got the caulking, got the SliderCuts caulking.
That's, I was reading that sold out, or it was being sold internationally at the very least anyway.
No, it's sold out.
It's sold out,
It's sold out quite a few times. Because we keep reordering. You know, but so even like now we're almost at the end again. But to be fair, I'm not even gonna lie. Like someone threw away the whole batch by mistake.
What?
I had probably about 100 in a bag.
Oh my gosh.
And someone thought it was a bin and he threw it away.
Got to get this ordered again.
So now I'm probably down to about 10 to 15. But that's from a batch of like 270. So they're selling, and people overseas buy them. Yes, people outside London buy them.
The demand's definitely there. So I look forward to that line anyway. Last question. What do you want, we touched on it already earlier, but what do you want SliderCuts to stand for and be a representation of, if you could articulate that?
What I want SliderCuts to stand for is a brand with integrity. A brand that has, not even has quality, that represents quality. A brand that represents good customer service, friendliness, a brand that represents community, help, refuge, somewhere that you can go to and seek help and get some type of help, even if it's not directly from us SliderCuts, but if we have to redirect you to go over there, and they'll help you, but you will have come here and got help. Basically, a modern day, more improved Desmond's.
Okay.
So, what I mean by Desmond's is the whole thing of
That's
like
the show.
Yeah, the show Desmond's, like, you know,
sure,
it's the community what they had in Desmond's that I really liked. I love the community. You know, I love the aspect, you know, people come, I love the community aspect of Desmond's.
Yeah.
But then, you know, the modern day version, the more improved version will be, you know, it's bigger than that. You know, you're franchising, it has products.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bigger space so it can service more people. You know, the customer service would be better than Desmond's.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but, you know, it would still be kind of like that place you walk into and it feels like you're walking into your family home.
Got you.
That's what I wanted to
Sort of stand for.
represent. To be honest, it's basically what I see in God and trying to be a reflection of that.
Right, so quick fire round. I've got 10 questions for you and a bonus question. I just need the first thing that pops into your mind to answer it. So, number 1, what is your favourite haircut to do?
Skin fade.
Number 2, what is your most used product in your kit bag?
Comb. But no, but that's not really.
As in, apart from the clippers and the comb. Apart from the clippers and the comb, yeah.
The SliderCuts caulking.
Caulking.
Yeah.
Got you. One thing you'd like to change about the barber industry, if you could?
The representation of the way it looks, but I think that I am helping that at the moment, as well as other barbers. Not just me. There are barbers, but I think I am being part of that group of barbers which are actually changing the way it's looked at.
Great. If you weren't a barber, what would you be?
Personal trainer or some type of counsellor, youth worker.
Not a dancer.
No, not a dancer.
Not a slider.
Not a slider.
Which celeb or person of public importance would you want to cut hair for that you haven't already?
Barack Obama.
Number 6, what's one thing about you that people would find surprising?
I don't actually enjoy getting up early.
Really? I wasn't expecting that.
I don't enjoy it.
Why? I wasn't expecting
I do it, but I don't enjoy it. I don't sit there and like, yes, I get to wake up at 5 a.m.
Got you. I wasn't expecting that. What is the best, most worthwhile investment you've ever made?
Okay, 2 different investments. One was monetary, and the other one is kind of like physically, I guess. The investment into life, I'd say the great investment was my wife. You know, and
Great answer.
We have a child together. We have another child coming right now.
Oh, congratulations.
You know, we're building a good family together. You know, so that's like a life investment. That was a great investment of mine. But then, like a monetary investment would have been, I bought one of the last cheap flats in Dalston 7 years ago.
Wow.
And you know,
That's done well.
that's done well. You know, that's just under doubles,
Wow.
basically. And that investment is that little investment that I put in is what helped me do the shop now 7 years later, and which might not make sense, but through that investment I bought another property because I took equity out. Then through the next property I took equity out of that and bought another property.
It starts to
And then
snowball.
use money through these properties and type of things like that and borrowed against my properties and stuff like that, which helped me to get this business now. You know, so basically it started off from that seed, that little investment. You know, and I'm selling it and I'm in crazy amount of debt right now.
It's good debt though.
Good debt, but I'm actually in a place of unmanageable debt. More going out than coming in right now. So I'm selling my property, my original place right now, which is going to help me clear quite a bit of debt.
Yeah.
You know, and I know it's emotional. I'm like, man, this place helped me do so much, and I don't want to sell it, but it's like
It served its purpose.
It served its purpose. You know, and now it's going to even help me even more now when I'm in so much debt and unmanageable debt.
Yeah.
Clear that up. So buying that property then, even when people were telling me not to, especially I had estate agents who were telling me not to.
Yeah.
Friends who were saying, "Fuck, don't you want to live in Dalston? Don't live there."
They didn't see it. They just didn't
So
see
yeah,
it.
that was
That's a great investment. Favorite YouTube show / podcast that you listen to?
I always tell you YouTube shows. Well, the only YouTube show I watch on YouTube would be The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
And podcast, there's different genres of podcasts. So I listen to quite a few Christian podcasts.
Yeah.
And they would be like different ones I listen to. Rabbi Zacharias show. It's the one I'm listening to.
Anyone that stands out in particular?
But the ones which I listen to, the Reggie Yates podcast.
Yeah.
I listen to Cut the Chat podcast. Outside of my Christian podcasts I listen to, I think the ones I listen to the most would be, and they go through different seasons, but I listen to one more than the other, would be probably Cut the Chat and the Reggie Yates podcast.
Cut the Chat, I've heard of that one.
Where the shop I used to work in before, they do that show. Do you know? Yeah, so one of the guys from there is part of that show, or co-runs that, that show. So yeah, those would be the ones. Probably it has to be, because I can't think of any off the top of my head. That must be it.
On that point, before I go on to the next one, do you watch The Shop with LeBron James?
I've watched 2 episodes.
I feel like you need to do a version of that in the UK. Have people said that before?
Yeah.
Cool, they must have done, yeah.
I would love to do it.
That has to be done, I swear.
I would love to do it. I don't think it can go as far as LeBron James wants. I don't think there's I don't think there's that many. It's such a small place, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I think it can run. I think it's got legs.
I know, I just think there's a lot less episodes.
Next question, final 2. What do people consider to be your greatest strength?
My drive, probably my drive and determination. It's funny you ask me that, because I think there was an interview I was doing yesterday, and some of my friends and people around me had to answer questions, and that was one of the questions they had answered. That's the reason why I could answer straight away. Because I read the answer they gave. I was like, it was my drive, determination, and discipline were the things they gave.
Got you. What book would you recommend everyone should read?
The Bible. And outside of that, the thing is, I haven't read a lot. The book that I'm doing.
Yeah. The book you're doing coming up.
The book I'm doing. I'm talking with a publishing company.
Oh, fantastic.
So talking with a publishing company.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be it.
I've got one last question for you. It's a bit of a silly one. But
sorry. A book to read actually.
Yeah, book to read.
Let me take the Bible. That's a massive book. Proverbs in the Bible. Whether you're a Christian or not, whether you believe in the Bible or not, I'll tell you there's a lot of wisdom in Proverbs. There's just a lot of wisdom. Now, you don't have to be someone who even kind of like
mad religious or anything like that.
Anything like that. It's actually a very logical wisdom book. Like it talks about business. It's just a great book to read.
Proverbs, yeah.
Yeah, just about life and stuff like that. Yeah, don't even have to go down a religious perspective or anything like that. Just read the Proverbs. It's all to do with like statements like lazy hands bring poverty.
Got you. It's like logical, realistic stuff.
Which is true. Lazy hands bring poverty. You don't want to work, you don't get paid.
Yeah. No, definitely. I'll check it out actually. So last one, it's a bit of a silly one, but can you give yourself a shave cut with your eyes closed?
No, but I did the other day cut the back of my hair without looking at it.
And it was still
and I did a decent job. It wasn't A1. But I didn't look at the back. I was just doing it, I was cutting, and I wasn't looking, but I was doing it by thinking stuff. I must be able, after all these years, to know how to do it now. And I didn't do a bad job.
Fair enough, definitely. I'm not going to try that. Appreciate it, thank you very much.
No worries,
thank you very much.